So, I want to take you back to 1986. The powers that be in a small town outside of New York City decided they were going to put together a collection of the most elite athletes ever found. And they decided to take 15 soccer players to create this legendary team across two rival high school or elementary schools. And that team is called the Larchmont Wolves. It was a travel soccer team. And would you believe me if I told you that two of the members of that legendary team are here today? One of them is yours truly. And the other, of course, is Brian Haas. So me and Brian have been friends for quite a long time. It's actually been 30 years, which is frightening. But again, I'm about to be a dad, that's frightening too. So I've known Brian a long time, and so I'm sure that he's going to be a great husband. He's got a lot of great attributes, as everyone's talked about. But I think that Vigdis assumes that these great attributes of his are just sort of natural. But the truth is that they were actually learned and trained over time. So I wanted to share some of the stories where he sort of cultivated these attributes. So number one, right, Brian, everyone knows Brian's a great cook, right? If anyone's ever been anywhere near these two in the kitchen, it's just like ridiculous, right? No one cooks like these people. But it doesn't just come naturally, like he had to work at this and he practiced over time. And so I have an example of this. And so I'll start this first story by apologizing to Ray and Margot and coming clean with you and letting you know that when we were in high school and you would go away, we would drink at your house. And I'm sorry and embarrassed about that. I'm 38. I feel very small right now. But we did. It was never anything crazy. It was all people you knew. It was like, reasonable. But after these parties, I would, the next day, wake up and I would actually go over to Brian's house and help him clean. And we would clean everything because we were like paranoid teenagers, right? We'd clean the floors, we'd clean the countertops, the tables, everything. And then I'd think we were done, and Brian would be like, oh no, we're not done. Because he had this special move, because the air was not yet clean. So Brian had this trick. He would bake something. I swear to God, this is true. We would have parties at his house, and we would bake something. So that the whole house didn't smell like teenage mischief. It smelled like cookies, or whatever. So Margaret and Ray, those times when you came back from Vermont and he had like brownies, as nice as you thought he was, I'm sorry. So another thing that is going to make Brian a great husband is that, and Ray was talking about this, he's a great teammate, right? If you've ever done anything with Brian, whether it's just go on a run for something, go on a vacation, do anything with him, he's great at teamwork. But this too was not just something that came naturally, this is something that was learned over time. So there was one time, and everyone's talked about Brian's adventurous spirit, but the adventure starts, right, when you're a teenager, you get your driver's license, your adventure starts at home. So, when you're a teenager, you sort of just drive around, do whatever. There was this one time where Brian, me, and Mike Cirillo, for some reason, decided that we were going to drive Brian's car around Larchmont, which had a bench front seat. We were going to do it together, cooperatively, as teammates. Brian on the wheel, me on the gas, and Mike on the brakes. We did this for like hours. Because everyone, needed to get a turn in the station, as it were. So, teamwork is great, but these things don't just happen on their own. The last thing I want to talk about is Brian's a great handyman, right? You go to the house in Portland, you go anywhere, like Brian's always like building things, he's always putting things together. But that too, came with some effort. So me and Brian once spent 2 weeks together in Alaska, and part of those 2 weeks we were going to spend 3 days on a glacier. And on the third day, our guide, we flew on there in a plane, 4 seats, pilot, Brian, me, guide. Third day, guide goes up, 45-minute hike to the ridge, gets on the, whatever that was, communication device, and the plane can't come in because of snow. This happens for 3 days. We were stuck there for 3 extra days, 6 days in a blizzard. The plane would come, circle around, and leave. We were literally like running out of food. It was pretty desperate. So, you know, it's like food, shelter. We built like a 3-foot wall around our tent, all these things. One of the trickiest things was going to the bathroom. So, going to the bathroom when you're on a glacier is a bucket with a seat on it, which is fine unless it's blizzarding outside. So, what are you going to do if you have to, you know, go number 2? So Brian decided that we were going to take the vestibule of our tent, which is the part outside of the door where you normally put your boots, and we were going to dig that thing 4 feet deep, which we did, and we put the toilet in the vestibule, and that's what we did. We lived like that for like a couple of days. So, Brian's a great handyman. I hope you enjoy the garden he made for you with this. I lived through that so that you could have this wonderful man. I lived with the boy. So, we have a long history, and I was obviously very excited when he met Vigdis. And the truth is, and I don't think actually anybody knows this, including you, I knew that it was different after their very first date. And I knew this because when I talked to Brian about it, he was really awkward. Really awkward. So it goes like this. It's like, hey dude, like didn't you go out with that girl? Yeah. How was it? What'd you do? Oh, we went to drinks, yada yada yada. We were up until like 2 or 3 in the morning, drinking whiskey. So, you know, so far so good. I was like, so far so good. Like, you're up until like 2 or 3 in the morning, drinking whiskey on like a Tuesday with this girl who drinks whiskey? It's like a unicorn. So far so good. But that's how I knew, right? He didn't want to jinx it. He was so excited about it that he wouldn't really talk about it. And he did this for like months. Literally months. And then I remember, so I knew Brian was very excited about it. And then I actually had the opportunity to talk to Ray about this. I don't know if you remember this, Ray, but I was playing golf with my dad. We were teeing off on the first hole, and you were putting on the 9th. And I saw you, and so I ran over, and it happened to be the day after you met Vigdis. And I said, hey, because I was excited to talk about Vigdis, because I couldn't talk about her with Brian, because he was like, oh, so far so good. So I run over there, and I was like, hey, what'd you think of Vigdis? And like, just rolled off Ray's tongue. Like, oh, she's this, and just like, and I was like, oh man, like, Brian's very excited, but now apparently Ray and I'm assuming Margo are also very excited. So this thing was like heavy and loaded from the beginning. So I'm glad it worked out, because I think it would have been devastating to everybody. But I knew from the very beginning that it was different, and it obviously was. I couldn't be happier for Brian. Brian is obviously an incredible guy. Everyone's covered it. Everyone knows. He is the most likable guy in the world. Like, everyone loves Brian, right? Everyone's wife loves Brian. Everyone's parents love Brian. My parents love Brian. My wife loves Brian. Like, everybody loves Brian, right? That's the way it is. Every single person that's ever met him, they love him. And it's unbelievable. It is... He's a gifted person in just being likable. And, you know, like, we've been friends for a long, long time, and somehow, you know, I think we're better friends now than we've ever been, which is amazing because we were great friends in high school, but our friendship has evolved over time even though we don't live near each other, and There's no one that I laugh with more. There's no one that I talk about life with more. And you're just the best friend I've ever had. And I can't tell you how happy I am for you today, and how happy I am that you found Vigdis. She's your perfect partner in crime. She has your shared incredible perspective on what's important in life. She's smart and curious and adventurous and fun and caring, and she drinks whiskey. Brian and Vigdis, to many, many years of happiness. I love you guys both dearly. Raise your glass to Brian and Vigdis. Thank you.